Welcome to Focus on the Falls. I'm John Mercure, joined by the superintendent of the Menominee Falls School District. He is David Muñoz, and the principal here at the high school is Dan Gebauer. Gentlemen, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Such an important topic. David, I want to start with you because when we talk about safety and security in our schools, it seems like nothing else really matters, curriculum, continuous improvement, if our schools aren't safe. And I know that's been a priority for you.
Yeah, it's absolutely a priority, and I am very honored and respected to be working with such a great staff that, you know, they were already working on it. There's a lot of great work behind it that we're just continuing. One of the things that we sat down and talked about, Mr. Gebauer, all the principals, was looking at what are their needs? What are their needs with respect to school safety, and what can I do to fulfill those needs? And those are the things that we're working on. Obviously, there was already work that had been started here at the high school, which was great work about that limited access entry. That's a big piece, but there's several other pieces that we're rolling in here in the next few months.
So let's talk about the entrance, Dan, a little bit. That is a big piece, as David said. What difference does the entrance make? Take us inside for people who have been to the high school in the past and what they'll experience now if they come to the high school.
So in the past, when you would come into the high school, it would just be basically open is our office, and access was not secure. If you looked at other schools in the district, the high school was kind of that outlier at that point. Now when you come in, that entrance is secure. We've got glass that surrounds, so anybody who comes in has to be buzzed through 2 different doors to get in, which makes it just so much secure when people are coming through the building.
We talk a lot about our kids and how we want our families to feel safe, but it goes for employees too. Is this better for your employees having this set up, this new entrance model?
Our office workers absolutely love it. I mean, they are just in complete control of the flow of people coming through the office at all times. The minute it started, it was just a game changer.
David, when you talk to families and they list off the things that are important in a district and important to their kids, where does safety fall on the list?
It's near the top or at the top. That, you know, my children are all into college or out of college, but it was a concern of mine as a parent, and I know it is for any parent. They give us their most precious children during the day. There's an expectation that they're going to be safe, and we take that as job one. Some of the more basic things are door security, and it's something we've been focusing on, and it's been going really well. And that's an everyday thing. You know, that's not as big as a limited access entry, which is great. The limited access entry, you know, it is door security, but there's a lot of other doors. You know?
So tell me about door security. When you talk about door security, and you're right, there's a lot of entrances.
Yep.
What sort of things are you talking about?
Well, door security is the door is being closed, but also monitored. So, I mean, there's security cameras in different areas and some different things that we're having to put in place to make sure that we have better coverage, better access, but also just the regular everyday checks. Somebody like me, I try to be in at least 2 buildings a day. I'm always checking doors, and it's really great news that I haven't found one unlocked yet, and that's awesome. I mean, that's a very basic piece, but an important piece, and I try not to come in the main door. You know, there's all these other doors. You know, like at the high school, I always tend to come in the back, just because I check in on tech ed, I start moving around the building, and it's just a natural thing for me. But other staff that move around to multiple buildings, I know they're checking doors as well, and that's important. And I know staff that are in buildings, it's a focus of ours this year, but it's one of those everyday focuses that can and does make a difference with respect to some of those unfortunate incidents we do see in the world.
We're talking to Superintendent David Muñoz and the principal at the high school, Dan Gebauer. I wanted to ask you, Dan, about something I saw when I came into the building today, and it was a police car parked out front. The presence of school resource officers, and here at the high school, there's a special relationship with the students. Talk about the importance of having a school resource officer.
Our partnership with the police department is paramount for safety, but you know, it goes beyond that. Officer Gopinski is our police officer here at the high school. He forms relationships with kids. Kids come to him when they have problems, when they need to talk to him, when they need to ask him questions. So things that a police officer is not just there to react to things when they happen, but he's preventing things actually from happening because of those relationships that he's formed with the students and really with the teachers and with us as administrators too. We all work cohesively as a team to ensure that the building is in the best place possible.
David, talk about that relationship with the police department and how critical that is to a district.
Yeah, it's wonderful. I have regular meetings with the chief of police, the lieutenant that oversees the school resource officers, and I'm very, very thankful to the school board and the chief of police for increasing our school resource officers from 2 to 3 since I've started. When I looked at it and looked at the number of officers we had given the number of students, I felt it was an immediate need. And it's something that we had put in place before the start of the school year. It's going to take some time to build from 2 to 3 just based on interviews and making sure you have the right training with the right staff. Because like the principal said, it's a really important position. The community-based policing is a little bit different type of policing where it's proactive relationship building, and it's something that there's specific training for with officers. And we have some wonderful officers in the village, which we're honored to work with on a daily basis.
I think you said something critical earlier, and that is that you need to be prepared in case something happens. We all pray, literally, that nothing ever happens in one of our schools. But in every district across America where something unfortunate has happened, those same prayers probably went up. How important is it to have a plan in place in case something happens, that we're in the position to make sure that we come through it as best as possible?
Yeah, we have plans in place and we're drilling those plans. We have some good systems in place. We're using a Raptor system, which is a technology out there, not just for entry into the building, checking everybody in and check everybody out, but actually using it as a means for how we conduct our drills, whether those be fire drills or crisis drills or lockdown drills, these sorts of things. I saw at least 2 this week because I'm on the notification app, as are all the administrators, when any of the buildings indicate drills. So those sorts of drills are important. When I was a kid, this will date me a little bit, it was nuclear drills under desks. Yeah. Those were fun, interesting, but maybe that was just a Fond du Lac thing, right?
No, we did that too.
Okay, yeah, the nuclear drill.
Yep.
Sorry to date myself a little bit, but I always wondered about those. But
different drills now.
Yeah, different drills now. But society, the world has changed a little bit that way. Just in my time as an administrator over the last 20 years, towers came down. The unfortunate incidents all over the nation that have gotten a lot of news. But the world has changed with respect to school security just in my 20-some years as an administrator. And we're being proactive in this district and pushing hard, which I'm excited to be part of.
Dan, the safety training is part of being proactive. Talk about the training that the staff routinely goes through and how you make sure that your teams are prepared.
Yeah, we do drills here, and we do drills monthly, if not even more often than that.
Mm-hmm.
Staff members, during our early release time, we will sometimes go and we'll take a look at the drills and we'll look at what went well and we'll look at what we can improve upon too. And that's why we do the drills over and over and over again. As these things continue to happen, we just refine what we're doing and just continue to get better and better.
I want to wrap things up by asking each a final question. Dan, I want to ask you the same question I asked the superintendent a couple of minutes ago. The importance of safety on the priority list. I mean, I know as a parent in the district, if things aren't safe, the rest of it really doesn't matter. How much time and energy is focused making sure that students and your staff are safe?
There's a lot of time that we spend on it. If a student doesn't feel safe in the building, we can't work on the academic pieces. Those just don't come until we've got that feeling of safety and security. And it's a multi-pronged approach too. So beyond the drills, it's working with kids on how we treat each other. It's working with kids on how an orderly school looks like. It's enforcing our rules within the school too. So it's such a big piece of what we do. Basically it's our classroom management too. So there's so much that goes into it. Without those pieces in place, academic academics, we're just simply not going to be able to work on those.
And Superintendent Muñoz, you have the last word. I know it's a work in progress. How do you feel as we sit here at the beginning of a new school year about the safety procedures and processes that are in place in our district?
Yeah, I'm excited where we're at. I mean, we've had a great start with respect to school security. And, you know, in terms of how I go about in leadership of a district, you know, I have certain expectations on the principals that I understand that are different, but they're very security based. You know, in terms of some of the things that I'm asking them and limitations in terms of their presence in buildings, this sort of thing, that they're aware of. I mean, the changes are security based, and because it is the number one issue, we have to address it first. You know, obviously we're an academic institution, and we're dialed into reading and mathematics and social studies and science and all the other disciplines. We want well-rounded students, of course, but in this environment, you know, in the 21st century, this is what has to be to start. And I'm very thankful for a team, not just administrative team, but all the teachers, all the support staff that are part of that. You know, when the power goes out or something like that, you know, there's many people involved in making sure that food service, you know, our building and ground staff, you know, our communication staff, the central office staff. There's a lot of pieces in order to make this district and each building that much more safe for all students and all staff.
Superintendent David Muñoz and High School Principal Dan Gebauer, an important discussion. Thank you so much for sharing it with us on Focus on the Falls.
Thank you. Thank you.